This is just unacceptable as the Phoenix Suns gave us some false hope in their big win yesterday versus the Philadelphia 76ers as they fall in disappointing fashion to the Charlotte Hornets in this back-to-back performance in an utter disappointment which has fans screaming at the front office to make moves immediately. So we're going to be diving in and looking and breaking down this disaster performance from the Phoenix Suns tonight and looking at it in depth, going over why this is such a big issue. All of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I'm Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support over on the channel recently, hitting that like, hitting that subscribe button, letting us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So ultimately, let me know your frustrations out, Suns fans, down below in the comment section, and get them all out there. But without further ado, let's dive into the video at hand today. Make sure to grab a snack. And like I said in the introduction, this cannot be happening with this Phoenix Suns team, as we saw them utterly collapse in this back-to-back performance versus the Charlotte Hornets here tonight on the road in very disappointing fashion. And we saw the Suns have a little bit of a struggling performance early on, but Devin Booker was that main focus, that main energy for this Suns team, really propelling it and really taking it over the top in that first half, and really taking over for this Suns team in the second quarter, where they scored 37 points to take a big lead. But as we all know, with the Phoenix Suns, that third quarter is the kryptonite, and that second half collapse was impactful. The Suns just fell out of the game right out of that gate right there and could not catch up to this Hornets team with their interior pressure. If we want to dive in, if we want to look at the stats for the game, like I mentioned, Suns lost this game 115 to 104. Got outshot by the Hornets, got out rebounded by a crap load, and were outscored in the paint by them as well. If we want to look at the Suns, like I mentioned, Devin Booker was that main engine tonight for the Suns. But as we all know, with Booker, with Beal, with Kevin Durant, they have yet to play a lot of minutes together, and when they play together, it has not worked. And with Beal coming off the bench, we saw tonight him have an utter complete fall off from his performance yesterday. 25 points yesterday for Beal. Tonight, Beal was 1 for 7 going into the halftime and was a utter disappointment for this team overall as a whole. Yusuf Nurkic looked bad. Mason Plumlee was missing up key wide open layups that he could just easily get in. And Mike Budenholzer is still running these 3-guard lineup with Yusuf Nurkic, with bad defenders in rotations that let these other teams get ahead of the Phoenix Suns. And we saw tonight for the Charlotte Hornets, Nick Richards be an absolute beast on the boards and basically give himself a nice audition for the Phoenix Suns here if they want to go out and get a nice rebounding key center to be that starting center job alongside Durant, Booker, and if they acquire Butler on the cheap. That's what I'm saying. Richards has been a center that has been available, has been notably tossed around the last couple off seasons, and I think he'd be a great addition as he just had a great standout game for the Hornets. But going back to the Suns, like I mentioned, absolute disaster class performance. Kevin Durant woke up in the second half. Devin Booker was leading the Suns scoring in the first with 21. Devin Durant was the second leading scorer at 8 points. But after that, Durant and Booker went on this little run together. Ryan Dunn made some impactful plays as well. But as we saw with this Suns team, this is unacceptable for these reasons here. Courtesy of Brandon of Arizona Sports Zone, we saw that the Hornets were on a 10-game losing streak entering tonight's game before they shot and ran out the Suns out of the gym. Phoenix falls to 16-19, is in serious jeopardy of missing the playoffs, but not only is this Hornets team on a 10-game losing streak, they were 2 in their last 18 in 20 games, and the Suns just gave them a victory right here. And Sam Cooper follows that up with the worst center rotation he's ever seen. As like I mentioned earlier, players like Yusuf Nurkic look absolutely abysmal with this Suns roster playing in that backup center role. Even though he hit some big time threes for the Suns early on, it was one of their leading 3-point shooters early on in this game. The Suns weren't firing from three, weren't hitting those threes, and weren't successful to be able to score them and kind of propel them in this game early on. Hornets were just shooting the lights out of the gym. Suns had no aggressiveness on defense, no pressure, and stuff that we saw last night versus the 76ers, which, gave us some hope, maybe gave us some life, maybe some false hope and false life, honestly, at this point, is now completely washed away and wiped under the rug. It does not matter. Yeah, the Suns were able to dominate in the inside of the paint with no Embiid and no Andre Drummond, and made Oso Agudaro have a fantastic game. But tonight, that gets completely washed due to the fact that they put on an utter gross display on defense, play lazy once again, and don't make those key plays to win these games. Like I said, Bradley Beal had a fantastic game last night in the roll off the bench, and we had to look at it at one game sample size. And when we look at the other game sample size, it is not that great. And clearly, these trade rumors, these trade speculations, all this stuff is getting to these players' heads. And you would understand that it would obviously kind of inflict on their playing style. You don't blame them, even regardless of what they say. But it's clear and evident that the Suns need changes and need these changes now. Not in 10 games, not in 15 games, not getting closer to this trade deadline. They need these changes immediately. They need a starting center. They need someone that can play interior and defend, because even versus a team with 7 wins previous to this performance, they get absolutely hammered in the paint. And versus a team that is nowhere near the playoffs at this point, and you want to be a playoff team in Phoenix, how can you go up against the likes of Nikola Jokic, go up against the likes of Rudy Gobert, Alperen Sengun, Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, amongst many other dominant bigs, Jaren Jackson? I could go on just naming all of them. It is going to be increasingly difficult for the Phoenix Suns to have any success on this team, regardless of adding Jimmy Butler and trying to figure out that whole Bradley Beal situation without adding a center. Even if they go and add Jimmy Butler for Bradley Beal, that center issue is still one of the biggest problems. Secondly, Bradley Beal obviously coming off the bench making $15 million is not worth it. The Suns need to figure out possible move, a possible way to get off of that contract, find a third team that is willing to take on that contract, and a team that is willing to go as and waive his no trade clause. Obviously, Phoenix, by benching him, is kind of forcing that kind of move to be made by Bradley Beal. And even though he keeps saying he wants to remain in Phoenix, he holds all the cards, obviously, because he has the no trade clause. I genuinely think that with this demotion of playing off the bench, with some unsuccessful play, Bradley Beal is going to grow frustrated and waive that no trade clause and just want to get out of Phoenix in general. I do believe that Matt Ishbia, this Phoenix Suns team, is going to get some stuff done, but it needs to be, like I said, now, because this is absolutely unacceptable that the Phoenix Suns are losing to the Charlotte Hornets, a team with 7 wins, when they have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker on this team alongside Bradley Beal and a better defensive core. The Suns need to lock in and can't be losing these games versus these low bottom feeders if they want to have any chance of making the playoffs, even fight in a playoff series. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Let me know what you ultimately think down below in the comment section about this Suns team. Like I said, this is absolutely unacceptable. We can't be witnessing this as Suns fans, and we need some changes, I think, this week. I think that they need to get on the phones right now, figure out what they need to do, regardless if that's moving off Josh Okogie, if that's moving off Grayson Allen, if that is getting some sort of extra draft capital for a player in to acquire Jimmy Butler. That is what is needed. And then figuring out what to do with this center situation. Drop under that second apron and do something. Matt Ishbia, James Jones, get on the phones. That is your job. Let's get something rolling in Phoenix. But let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your night and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.